When the state says God doesn't speak and the community says we can't sleep, who gets silenced and who gets protected? The CRL Commission, South Africa's watchdog for cultural and religious rights, has reignited a firestorm in a recent statement. Its chairperson declared anyone who claims God speaks to them should be taken to a psychiatric ward. That's not just provocative, it's a direct challenge to the heart of spiritual belief systems across the country.
To court, but with little success, Bill has now approached the CRL for help.
We consulted with the church and we were arrogantly told by Mr. Makhubu that they cannot compromise. The wish is that the church must relocate to a different area.
Bill also attempted to open a case at the Moroka police station and reached a dead end. The Johannesburg Metro Police also attempted to intervene but failed. JMPD reaffirmed that they remain committed to enforce the law against noise pollution but relies on the city's environmental health for help.
JMPD officers are not typically trained or authorized to operate the specialized sound measuring devices required to perform the scientific, legally viable acoustic assessments for a disturbing noise case. We therefore rely on the expertise of environmental health for these technical investigations, which are necessary for complex and ongoing noises.
In 2015,
I believe that 2 episodes from now, I covered this story previously. Pastor Makhubu is a prominent Soweto-based leader, and she was interviewed at Newsroom Afrika. In a televised interview, she stood firmly against the CRL's stance, defending the right to prophetic leadership and spiritual autonomy. She was stating that we cannot allow the state to define our relationship with God. But while this is happening, while she is defending her faith, another battle is now brewing right outside her church.
Of this church, we don't even cope. Our children are not coping, and then we are tired because this Pastor Makhubu, she didn't even respect the residents.
according to Pile, the church started in October 2009 without proper public consultations. The church is owned by charismatic pastor Mfariseni Makhubu. Since Makhubu's church started,
Here's the thing that I don't understand, and I'm failing to understand why the SABC journalists are not questioning the community on. The community is complaining about noise pollution. They're complaining that they're not sleeping at night. If you look at the segment that I initially played for you, the lady said that she's a nurse practitioner. She's consulting with patients and she's not able to sleep. The other person came in and said that the kids are not coping. And the part that I'm missing to understand is that every single poster that I have looked at, so I personally don't go to this church, but every single poster that I have looked at pertaining to the services of this church indicates that the services of this church occur Sunday morning at 10 a.m. So now I'm not understanding how people are not able to sleep if the Sunday service is taking place at 10 a.m. I mean, if the Sunday service begins at 10 a.m., I'm going to believe that if it lasts long, it's going to end at 1, right? 1 p.m. And then maybe perhaps there's going to be a Wednesday service that probably will start at 6 and probably will end at 9. I'm not understanding how the residents are continuously complaining about noise pollution, especially at night, from a church that is operational on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. The two do not correlate. It is too much of a coincidence that almost 2 or 3 weeks after the same Pastor Makhubu appears on Newsroom Afrika taking a firm stance against the regulation of the Christian faith as it pertains to the CRL Commission, all of a sudden there's noise pollution complaints that are being leveled against her that do not make sense. If you do not remember what it is that I'm talking about, here we go.
Anybody says they hear from God, you should send them to a psychiatric ward. It is very difficult to believe such things, that the motive behind, given all the utterances that have been so consistent with regard to regulating the churches and especially pastors of charismatic churches.
The funny thing is that the very same commission that is trying to regulate the church is the same commission that is now in receipt of these complaints from the community members. This is what the lady says. The SABC insert actually says this. It's so weird. It's funny. It's too coincidental.
to court, but with little success. Bill has now approached the CRL for help.
We consulted with the church.
If you do not remember the CRL, the head of the CRL is this lady who said this, which is why everybody keeps saying that this cannot be the person that is regulating the church.
It's all that. If someone says to you, God was talking to me, tell them to go to the psychiatric ward. Because if they say God is talking to them and calling them and telling them this is going to happen, I've got all the power, I can curse you, I can make you die just by saying so. Because God.
The CRL Commission, that is tasked with mediating cultural and religious tensions, now finds itself accused of both overreach and neglect. This very same lady, I'm encouraging you again to go and watch the episode that I did previously regarding this issue. This lady herself has indicated that she believes in ancestors, herself has indicated that she believes in sangomas, herself has indicated that in fact she's got a sangoma who is employed in her institution. Now, how do you get a sangoma to come and regulate the church? How is it that she believes that the sangoma is able to speak to her ancestors, but she does not believe that the pastor can speak to God? And somehow this makes it okay for this lady to come and regulate the church. It is too coincidental that Pastor Makhubu's church is all of a sudden now being accused of breaking Sowelo's bylaws as a result of noise pollution in the middle of a night when the church is operating on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. It's too coincidental.